Welcome to another exciting episode of the Andre The Beast Crayton Show. Man, they're still knocking at the door, and I'm letting them in. We have in-house today the one, the only, not one, not two, not three. I'm not even done yet. Not 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, not even 11, but we got 12 in the house. Welcome to the show, big dog.
Hey, what's happening with you, man? Good to be here.
So, 12. Tell me how we got to number 12.
Man, okay, so it's kind of a long story. A while back,
We got time.
Yeah, I'm with that. A while back, man, there was a record label here in the city called Keeping It Real Records, ran by a guy by the name of Prinny Mo.
Okay.
And I was signed to this record label. I was actually one of the first artists signed to that record label.
Okay.
But at that time, they kept calling me B12. My name is Bryan.
Okay.
So my first name is Bryan. So they kept calling me B12 because I always looked young. So they was like, man, you about 12 years old and you always rapping. So it was B12, and all of this. And so we was, making noise in the city. I was building up my little fan base or whatever.
Right.
And then Eminem came out with a group called D12. And then I was like, oh, man. So I didn't want, that was too close, B12,
Right.
D12, and then they already was out. I didn't want to come out and make it seem like I was biting off their name or whatever. So
Right.
Since I already had built up a small fan base, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to cut the B off and just keep the 12, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And we rolled like that. And then who would have known that years later, now everybody called the police 12. It was like, oh, man, what luck is that, man? I should have played the lottery.
But it's a good name because even when I heard it, I was like, 12? That's unique. And I know it had to be a story behind 12. So tell the viewers a little bit more about your journey. And you're in the music. You're an artist.
Yes, sir.
Been an artist.
Yes, sir.
Tell me how we got there.
All right, man. Well, my music career started a long time ago. I'm about to tell my age, really. But a long time ago, man, when I seen a video come on MTV called I'm Bad by a man named LL Cool J.
We won't talk how old that was.
Nah, we ain't gonna mention that. I ain't gonna mention that. But that came on TV.
Yeah.
And I remember how everybody ran to the TV and everybody was just hovering around. I was still little. I ain't gonna lie. So
Yeah.
I'm
wasn't 12.
No, I wasn't 12 yet. I was still a youngster. But I just seen the way that everybody react. My family, my friends, everybody reacted.
Right.
And I remember my cousins was talking about it before even it came on TV. They was, hey man, y'all got to see this. Y'all got to see this. And
Right.
and when it finally hit, everybody ran. So that right there just made me look at life different. Like, wow, look at the reaction this dude is getting from rapping, and look at how it's making my family look at him. You know what I mean? So I wanted people to look at me that same way. You know what I mean? So that's where it all started. And then from there, man, it just kept going, man. From talent shows to, I want to give a shout out to DJ Guy Black, Guy Black talent shows. I
used to be Guy Black's trainer.
Oh yeah,
I'm going to tell her the age.
we're gonna keep that back in the vault. We're gonna keep
that.
that back in the vault. But yeah, man, there's talent shows. And we went from there to I ended up getting signed to Keeping It Real Records.
Well, let's go back for a minute. When did you start? How old were you when you was doing a talent show? Because you wasn't 12 when that song came out.
Nah, I was when I started doing talent shows, man. I was in. It was probably around the age of 12, maybe 11, 12.
Who noticed the talent in your family? Who noticed that you got that
It
that
was
gift?
first, my brother first.
Okay.
But it wasn't because he was looking for it. What it was my brother. It was in the neighborhood, and he was like the beat maker or the little Dr. Dre in the neighborhood. He had the keyboard and the computer.
Right.
He had the whole little setup, but he wouldn't let me in. He never knew I could rap, and he would never let me in the room. So all his friends and everybody being there, they be in there rapping and all loud all night, and I knock on the door, and they be like, "Man, get on out of here, little dude," you know what I mean? And so I was rapping around the neighborhood, and everybody, kept hearing it, you know what I mean?
Right.
Hey man, your little brother tight. Just going back and telling him, your little brother tight, your little brother tight. And he was like, man, yeah, right. And then one day he called me in the room, hey man, come in here. Everybody said that you tight rap. And I rap. And all his friends was around there. I seen the expression on
Do you
their
remember
face.
what the rap was that you broke down?
Nah, man, that was woo. Them years ago, man. Yeah, but it was some good times back then, though.
How was it when you did your first show? Because you were still young. I'm taking the viewers down
Yeah.
the path of an artist.
Man, I was scared. I was scared. I didn't know what
You get
to
stage
do.
fright?
Yes, I was. I mean, shaking. I mean, I didn't know. But after I grabbed the microphone and I started doing my thing, and I started getting the reaction from that feedback from the crowd is what kept me going. You know what I mean? That was motivation for me. But yeah, I won't lie, man. It was definitely stage fright. I mean, getting up there and all eyes on you. You know what I mean?
Did you rock it?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Did you win?
Yeah. No, I didn't win. I didn't win the talent show. I want to do another shout out to Guy Black. Nah, I never won any of those talent shows, but we got real close. I think we came in second place like 2 times. But
really,
yeah.
So what was the struggle for you? You know, because definitely the music industry has changed from our generation. We've seen the musical industry evolve to. Especially with the social media. I mean, God, you could become an overnight celebrity.
Yes, you can.
Like crazy. But that's like getting struck by lightning as well.
Yeah, that's true.
What were the struggles that you encountered? I mean, was the family supportive of this new journey? Because you're still in school. You're still going to elementary school. You haven't got to junior high yet, to high school. Take me down that part of your life.
Man, my family always been supportive. They always had my backs. Yeah, I remember when I got... Actually, I'm gonna rewind this back a little bit because there was a local group here in the city called NAP, and I remember.
What does that stand for?
You really want to know?
NAP? Yeah.
N words ain't playing.
Okay,
that's what I'm gonna put it PG.
I like that. Okay,
but it was N words ain't playing, and so NAP had they was making noise in the city. I mean,
really?
They was big in the city, and I remember I did a talent show, and one of their managers, his name was Scrap. And I remember he met me backstage and gave me his card and was like, "Man, I like the way you sound, blah blah blah. Give me a call." And I ended up giving him a call. And I remember my mother let me leave school early to go have a meeting with them. So trying to set up something.
You was in junior high or high school at this time?
What was I? This was junior high.
Okay.
This was junior high school, and then that was my freshman year of high school. I believe that was my freshman year. And then later on in high school, that's when I got signed with Keeping It Real Records. So she. But
you went. Your mom let you leave,
right,
to go and negotiate.
Yes.
Did you? What happened? Did you know how to negotiate?
No.
What did you do?
I was just actually there just trying to see what they contracted and whatever they was talking about, because he said, "Give me a call. I want to know what you're talking about." So I mean, I wasn't there on nothing serious. I was just really just.
Well, just the thought that they saw enough in you to say
that was amazing. I mean, that right there is motivation, though. That kept me going. That kept me pushing.
Were there haters? Now you're starting to get some exposures. You're in high school. There's peer pressure. There's got to be some peer pressure now.
It's always peer pressure. It's always peer pressure. And as far as haters, I'm gonna say yes, but the haters that I experienced, believe it or not, came from my neighborhood. More or less, came from outside.
Really?
Yeah. That it kind of hurt at the time, but. What
were they hating about? Because you clearly hadn't reached the pinnacle yet.
No,
so what?
Still haven't.
Juvenile hating, I guess.
Yeah, I guess you can call it that. But at the time, I remember I had just got signed with Keeping It Real Records, and we were all walking around with the big gold chains and you know what I mean, all of it. You know what I mean? Because as soon as you signed the dotted line, you received your necklace. You know what I mean? Like No Limit and Death Row. Everybody had their own charm. So yeah, I remember I had got that, and I remember I went to the basketball court, and everybody was just like, "Oh man, get that out of here, man. That's fake, man. All of that other little stuff."
Right.
So I mean, I started receiving some of the hate right there, but I mean, I didn't worry about it.
What was the songs that you produced at that time, or that you wrote, that got you to that first contract?
The first contract.
I mean, we always got to remember that first song, because that was the elevating part.
It actually wasn't even a song.
It wasn't?
No, it was my reputation, because
they gambled on the
yeah,
rap.
they really did. But what it was I used to, when I was in high school, one thing that I prided myself in was battle rapping. Okay. And I used to love it. You know what I mean? Anybody, anywhere, any place, let's go. You know what I mean? I would cut class and meet you somewhere. I would bring my own beat maker dude that would sit there and beat on the table. I had it all lined up.
Right.
And I remember a couple of me and my friends, we used to skip school, like, and go to a different school just because we heard some dudes over here at Broad Ripple wanted to battle rap me.
Who had the best rappers to battle rap when you was in school? What schools did you go, I don't really want to go on that turf?
At that time, I would say it was more or less Arlington
Because you went to what school?
Tech.
So Tech in Arlington. So
Yeah.
So they had the
They was the rival.
really.
They was the rival. They was the one that if I felt any threat, it was coming from there. Either there or LC, but more or less, I'm gonna say Arlington.
Okay.
I knew a lot of the cats that went to Arlington because
Okay.
I'm from an Arlington neighborhood. But
Okay.
yeah, so yeah, I mean that happened, and I mean we just, I mean we just kept rolling, kept pushing.
So moving forward to today, when did you realize that okay, you got a record deal? Did the record deal and the contracts evolve to anything, or were there any setbacks? What happened with
man.
that first deal?
Yeah,
The
it was
good, the
amazing.
bad, and the ugly.
Oh man, you really want it all?
Yeah. This is Andre The Beast Crayton Show. We're live. Subscribe, like. We're with number 12, the 12. He's gonna give us all the good, the bad, and the ugly.
All right, here go the juice, man. All right, so it's kind of a long story, but
We got time.
I knew you was gonna say that. All right, so
This is a 2-part episode.
all right, so it all started off. Everything was good, man. I signed with Keeping It Real. When I say spoiled, I've never been spoiled as an artist until I signed that record label. I mean, we had our own outfits, tailor-made. We had studio access anytime, all day. I mean, I'm meeting stars. I mean, people are coming in the studio, in and out in the city. That
Like what kind of stars?
E40, Rod
Really?
Digger, yeah, Twister, Sibo. I mean, you just name a lot of artists that came. Be Legit from Cash Money. Can't remember his name right now. Believe it or not, he locked up.
Were these guys sharing information with you about the game and?
A little bit. Too Short did. Too Short
Okay.
was real big on that. He definitely was trying to teach us about how the game work, contracts. Look out for this. I mean, he was teaching us a lot. But I mean, yeah, a lot of artists would come through and it'd be unspoken. You wouldn't hear about it on the radio or nothing.
Right.
And I loved it. And I mean, I just loved it. The whole atmosphere. And we were set up to do a show. We were supposed to get a distribution deal through Universal. It was supposed to be $1 million distribution deal through Universal. Everything. We had a hot song out on the radio. It was called "Who the Best Riders." For y'all that live in Indianapolis, I know y'all know who the best rider, crooked eye rider. But yeah, we had it on lock, man. My homeboy Prophet and Sibo and Prenty Mo, all
Right.
of them had hands on it. I helped write a little bit of it, but we all had hands in on it. And I remember everything was popping real good with the song, and we was on our way to Kentucky for the Kentucky Derby. We had 2 shows lined up. And we had a show on Saturday and a big show on Sunday, and that's where Universal was supposed to see our stage performance. And we got there, and we all got locked up.
This might be explicit.
Yeah, this is now here go the juice. It gets it gets dirty. So
Okay.
I'll tell you what I remember. All right, now this is just from my perspective. So everybody who was there, who was a part of the story, y'all know I'm just telling my perspective of it.
Yeah.
But from what I remember we got there, we got all to the hotel. I remember Prenty Mo telling everybody, hey, go check in your room, put your bags up in your room. We got to go to the mall. I said, okay. So everybody put their bags up. Came back downstairs. We all went to the mall. When I say, again, spoiled, I mean he had 15 passenger vans laid out for us. I mean,
How old were you around this time, so the viewers will know?
I was probably about, 17, 18?
Wow.
Yeah, somewhere around up in there.
Okay.
So, I mean, everything was lined up. I mean, we got there. We was there with Rap-A-Lot Records. So, Do or
Oh,
Die.
yeah.
Do or Die was there. A couple other guys. Devin the Dude was there. I remember... they had tables set out in the middle of the floor. We was just out there signing autographs. You know what I mean? The whole night.
That had to be
it felt like
blowing at 17.
Man, it felt like gold. Man, it felt like gold. And I remember we all went back. We went shopping. He gave us all money. I mean, Prenty Mo had distributed like $300 per person. It was 14 artists on the label. So yeah, everybody got some money. Go shopping. We all went shopping for our outfits for that night. And we went back to the hotel. He said, go ahead and take your showers, change your clothes, get ready for tonight. We got a performance. We're like, okay, let's go. We all do that. I remember when I came back downstairs from the hotel, I walked outside, and one of the vans was running with the keys in it, with the doors locked. and Prinny Mo and a couple other guys was trying to pry the window open to, try to unlock the door, but in the process they busted out the whole window. Yeah, so Prinny was like, "Hey, I ain't worried about it. We just gonna get it fixed when we get back. Clean up the glass. Let's move." You know what I mean? So we all start moving. We get to this is where I'll twist. So we're on our way to the venue. We're in Kentucky now. Mind you, it's 3 15-passenger vans. I'm in the last van. There's 2 vans in front of us. I remember being on a street where you can just go straight or turn left. That was the only option because it was buildings going all the way down. So either straight or turn left. And I remember there's a park on the left-hand side. It was dark outside. The traffic was thick. I mean, if you know, like Circuit City Classic, Expo, you know what I mean?
And Derby.
Derby. Yeah. It's every 5 minutes you move 10 feet. You know what I mean? So it was like that. And I remember the 2 vans did some manipulation through traffic or whatever, and they started leaving us, and we didn't know where the venue was. And so the driver in the van started panicking, like, well, I don't know what to do. So he ended up jumping the curb and driving through the park to catch up with the other vans. And in the process, we heard sirens behind us. And we was just like, hey, just keep going, hurry up and get to the venue. So we ended up parking in the venue, running in VIP, doing the show, forgetting all about that episode that just had happened. And then I remember we was leaving the venue, and on our way out, we started hearing sirens again. And we was all looking around. I remember seeing, I thought it was an ambulance. And I was like, man, it's an ambulance with blue lights. I ain't never seen that before. And everybody was laughing. They was like, man, there ain't no ambulance. That's the paddy wagon. Well, lo and behold, we ended up getting on a high-speed chase a little bit. So, yeah, I told you, get a little juicy. So we got on a little high-speed chase from the police a little bit. We pulled to some alley. The driver, not saying no names, threw it in park, jumped all the way in the back. Police surrounded us, guns drawn, snatching everybody out. We all on the ground, twisty ties, the whole 9. We all go to jail. Since it's the weekend,
you got to stay.
We got to stay. So guess what we missed?
You missed your performance.
We missed our performances.
Where was your manager? What? Keep going. It's just your story.
Yeah, so we missed it all. We wasn't let out until Monday morning. And we all got back to Indianapolis. We lost the deal. The $1 million distribution deal with Universal, that fell through. Everything just.
My question is, what was the charge?
It was disorderly conduct.
Really?
Yep. They had us for disorderly conduct. But
why didn't they say something to you guys? Well, you wouldn't have known because you was young, but it's like they would have said something right then when he did what he did to go to the vineyard.
The thing was, when he jumped in the back, when the police got us all out and lined us all up, they said, we just want the driver. I remember the cop looked specifically at me and said, who was driving? You tell me who was driving, I'll let everybody go. But we family. You know what I mean?
Code of silence.
And yeah, we ain't snitching on my brother. You know what I mean? I ain't telling on him. That's my brother. So nobody said nothing. And he was like, okay, don't nobody want to talk? All y'all go to jail.
So you lose out on the performance. Mm-hmm. What happens when you guys come back to Indy and you lose out on the performance? What transpires now? What's the next? We're taking you down the life of a artist. 12.
Yes, sir.
So what happens now? You go back.
I go back. I remember normally the studio is jumping. It's popping. Every day somebody's there. Something's going on. For the next week or so, the studio was just dead. I mean, we'd walk in the studio and there's nobody there. And it was very odd. And then I remember being over at my buddy's house and I got a phone call and it was from Prinny Mo. And he said, meet me at the studio in an hour. Right. We get down there to the studio. Actually, I had a partner in this, so I was in a group. So it was me and another guy. So when we finally got to the studio, he had some guys set up he wasn't even there, but it was his friend. I think it was Black or somebody. But they was already sitting in the office or whatever, and they had release forms on the desk. And he was like, "Mo's upset. We lost a lot. He invested a lot. Blah blah blah. These are y'all release forms." And I remember my buddy didn't sign it. I signed mine, but my buddy didn't sign his. And he ended up staying with him for a little while longer. And believe it or not, I think that was God. You know what I mean? Because later on down the line, what ended up happening was Prinny Mo was arrested and locked up for cocaine.
Wow, you definitely don't want to be attached.
I didn't want to be no parts of that. You know what I mean? And so, everybody who was in the studio or a part of that studio at that time was all attached. What the FBI was saying, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because that's his company. That's
Right.
everything
Right.
falls in there. So then, what do you do from that moment? You're still young, so you can
young.
you can still recover.
At that point, I remember right before everything had fell over with keeping it real. Dr. Dre was coming into town, and he had an Up and Smoke tour. And
okay.
I remember I had just got some tickets, and I was telling my best friend, man, we going to this show. I gotta meet Dre. And he was like, man, you ain't gonna meet Dre. Ain't no way in the world you're gonna get back there. And we got nosebleed seats, man. And I promise you, for like the whole first hour of the concert, my buddy's mad at me. He cussing me out because we
couldn't see.
There ain't no seeing. I'm trying to get backstage. Like I'm going around the arena. I'm trying to find somebody I know. I'm just doing everything. I never sat down in my seat.
You're trying to move. You're trying to work.
I'm trying to work. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get to the goal, you know what I mean? So I remember it was a security guard, and he slipped. I remember he was talking to somebody, and somebody said something. He was like, "Oh, here I come," and he walked away for a quick second, right down. That was our point. Again, that was God. Right down in there. So anyway, make a long story short, we ended up getting backstage. I didn't get a chance to meet Dr. Dre, but I met everybody else around him. So from Warren G to Exhibit to D12.
Oh my God, that's a pot of gold.
Yeah, and we was back here freestyling. We back here just, hey man, I can rap. You can rap. You know what I mean? And I'm rapping to the beat in the concert. You know what I mean? And I remember I was with Warren G, and Warren G was like, man, you nice. He was like, you got a demo tape or something somewhere I can get in touch with you?
Right.
And I was like, yeah, I got my. And I reached in my pocket, and I was like, it's in my car. And he was like, oh, don't worry about it. Don't trip. He was like, after the show, we're going to be at the Omni Hotel downtown. Meet me at the hotel. Give it to me there. And I was like, bet. Right then and there, we left the concert. I don't care about this concert.
Warren G already gave you
I got the pass.
Green light.
Right. So I go back to the car. Me and my buddy, he mad. I done paid this money for my ticket. But hey, man, we got a ticket.
You worried about a ticket when you don't been backstage with the leprechaun in the gold box. Yeah.
So I remember we got to the Omni Hotel. I waited in the lobby until the rest of the concert was over. I watched the buses pull into the parking lot. I watched the crowds come. Everything. The lobby got packed. I remember I'm looking for Warren. I was like, I got to get Warren my demo. I walked outside. I seen Warren getting off the bus, and he was going towards the bottom of the bus getting his luggage off. And I didn't want to, seem like a crazy fan or nothing like that. I was like, I'm just going to
let him do his thing.
Yeah, I don't want to seem too hungry. You know what I mean? Too thirsty or nothing. So I'm just going to let him do his thing. And when he walked through the lobby, I'm going to catch him in there, and I'm going to give him my demo. That's the plan in my head. Well, I'm sitting in the lobby, and I don't see no Warren. The crowd just keeps getting thinner. I see Snoop. I walk over to Snoop Dogg. I'm like, hey, Snoop, man, I heard you starting. At the time, he was starting a label called Doggy Style Records or something. Excuse me, or something. And so I'm like, hey, Snoop, man, I heard you starting a label, whatever. Hey, you might be looking for artists. I'm an artist. Hey, here's my demo tape, blah, blah, blah. I remember he was high, and he kind of like leaned back and looked at me, and he just like laughed. You know what I mean? He laughed at me right in my face, just like, like, who are you, little dude? You know what I mean? And right when he did that, the security guard was looking at his reaction. And right when he did that, the security guard moved. You know what I mean? It just pushed me, like, get out the way. And I'm just like, damn, Snoop. I mean, for real, like, I'm still a kid, basically. You know what I mean? But I understand now, you know what I mean? At the time, I didn't. I was kind of upset. But I'm like, Snoop is a household name. You know what I mean? He gets approached constantly. So
yeah.
I get it. You know what I mean? So, I just shrugged that off, whatever. But then I ended up, as the crowd was getting thinner, I ran into Proof from D12. Okay. And then I'm happy again. I changed my name from B12 to 12. Yeah, just to 12. And so when I met Proof, Proof remembered me from backstage. He was like, hey, man, you was the one backstage freestyling and stuff with Exhibit and all. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, yeah, man, you cold. And I was like, man, I'm trying to get on. And he was like, oh, well, because I was like, I'm looking for Warren. I don't know where he at. And he was like, don't trip. I got somebody. He called over a dude named Pablo. Hey, Pablo, come here. So Pablo comes over. He was the A&R for Shady Aftermath Records. And he was like, hey, Pablo, I want you to meet this dude, man. Blah, blah, blah. Give him your information. He was like, Pablo, this the dude, man. put him on. You know what I mean? I remember I'm like, oh, this is it. This is my moment. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
where was your boy at?
He was behind me. He was behind me though. He's smiling.
Did the song go down?
Yeah. He watched the whole play.
Okay.
But now he's excited because you know what I mean. We actually meeting him and talking to everybody again. So so that had happened. A week, he told me he was gonna get in touch with me after the tour was over. He was like, you know, we're on tour, it's busy right now, whatever. After the tour was over with, I'll give you a call, and he did.
Wow.
Yeah, he gave me a call, and so he was like, hey man, we got your demo tape. I only had like 2 songs or something on it. He was like, I let my higher ups hear it. They like it. They want to hear more from you. You know what I mean? He was like, can you send me some more? Well, at this time, I was still under contract with Keeping It Real, and I wasn't supposed to be.
And people don't know that's a conflict of interest.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But this is right before Keeping It Real had fell through, though.
Okay, okay.
But so that had happened, and I was struggling to get back in. I couldn't sneak in. Keeping It Real studio was the only studio I had real access to. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I couldn't go in there and record something for somebody else. So I struggled trying to find a studio, and when I finally found one, I finally recorded some stuff. Finally sent it back to Pablo. I didn't get a response, and then so I'm calling his office, and then finally somebody else picked up. And he was like, hello? And I'm like, hey, I'm looking for Pablo. I sent him some of my music. We're supposed to be talking about blah, 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 XYZ. And he's like, man, I'm sorry to inform you, Pablo was fired. I was like, are you serious? He was like, yeah. And he was like, what's your name? And I told him, hey, my name is 12. Maybe he had let you hear some of my stuff or talked about me or whatever. And he was like, no, I haven't heard anything. He said he took everything in his office. He cleaned his whole office out. He's gone. He was like, but my name's Mike. If you want to send me something, I'll, you know what I mean?
So
I'm
now
just
you got to
like,
do the process all over again.
Man. So, yeah, I was stuck in a rut for a while. You know what I mean? So that had happened. That all kind of like fell through, blew over. As things kept going, I mean, I signed to other little, almost signed. I'm not going to say really signed, but I almost signed to other little labels like Knock 'Em Out Records. Shout out to Knock 'Em Out. Shout out to Gold Rush Records. Big D.
There's a lot of record deals.
Man, I've been in the game for a while, man.
That's a lot of record deals.
Yeah.
So you learned something from that. I mean, so how did you, I guess because you're young. When you're young, you fall down, you get back up.
That's it.
You know,
Scrape your knee.
Let's move a little bit forward. Now you signing with, tell me your connection to the legend.
To Uncle Jam.
Uncle Jam.
The legend. All right.
Everybody that seems to walk in my studio lately is affiliated with Uncle Jam.
That man got his hands in everything. I'm telling you.
He's the real
amazing.
black godfather of
man.
music.
He's the dude. That's
Okay.
the reason why they call him Unc.
Okay.
For real, straight up. But how I met Uncle Jams. Okay, so I'm working a job, and I meet this guy. His name is Lamont. He's real cool. I mean, we hit it off. We kicking it every day. And he keeps telling me about his cousin. Man, I got a cousin. He used to work with Babyface. He knows everybody. He's in the game. You got to meet him. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. I done heard this thousands of times from thousands of people. All right, whatever. Yeah.
Now, how old are you now before you even meet Uncle Jams?
Okay, before I met Uncle Jams, how old was I? About 24.
Okay, so you wasn't that really far connected from the bad business deal with the
Right, with all of that other
yeah.
stuff.
So you're still hungry.
Yeah, I'm still.
Okay,
I'm
so
still
people
out
need
here.
to know you're still hungry.
Yeah, I'm still
okay.
out here. Yeah, I'm about 24, 25.
Okay.
And yep. So that goes through. Okay. I meet Lamont. He's telling me I need to meet his cousin. Need to meet my cousin. Okay, I need to meet your cousin. And he's like, again, I heard this 1,000 times. So one day I'm at home. I'm just chilling, watching a movie or something, and he knocks on my door. Now, I normally don't like when people come over unannounced, so I really didn't want to answer the door in the first place. It kind of pissed me off. But I looked at the peephole, I seen Lamont, and I'm like, man. So I opened the door, so I'm already in a bad mood a little bit. So he's like, man, come on, man, you got to come with me. He's like, I'm having a family reunion. My cousin's in town. You got to meet him. And I'm like, man, I ain't going nowhere. Right. You know what I mean? I'm like, man, I'm chilling. I'm at home. I got my shoes off.
Right.
I got my
you're
drink.
done for the
you know
day.
what I mean? Yeah, I'm cool. And he was like, nah, man, my cousin's only gonna be here for a little while, man. He ain't gonna be here long. You gotta meet him. Now's your chance. If you don't come now, you probably ain't gonna meet him. And I'm like, I'm cool. I tell him hi. You know what I mean? And he stayed on my head, man. Come on, man. You playing, man. Come on, man.
Let's go.
You love music, right? Come on. And so I was like, all right. So I put on some clothes, ran on out the door with him. We go to the little club where they're having their family reunion at.
Right.
And Uncle Jams is walking around. I still don't really know who he is, but he pointed him out. Hey, that's him right there. You need to go meet him. So he introduces us. Hey, this is 12 Uncle Jams. Blah, blah, blah. I'm going to tell you, Uncle Jams, he shooed me for the first time. The first time I met him, he kind of like shooed me. He said, I'm at my family reunion. I'm busy. I'll talk to you later. And walked away.
And at 20-some years old, you're like, oh, okay, what?
Yeah, I'm like, man, take me back home, man. I
Right.
sat back at the table like, man, dude don't even want to talk to me, man. Take me home. And he was like, man, just chill with us for a minute. Let me have a drink or two, and then we can go back.
Right.
And then before he finished the second drink, Uncle James came up, tapped me on the shoulder, and said, come talk to me. I said, all right. So we went in the back corner where it was kind of quiet so he can, discuss some music stuff. And
Right.
it just started right then and there. That was the spark of it. Now I'm gonna tell you, the first time I talked to him, he didn't really like rappers. He had a bad experience in his past, so he
Right.
had told me you got to ask him about all of that.
I'm going to ask him, too. I'm going to sure ask him.
Yeah, he had some bad experiences, and so he was telling me how he didn't like rappers. He didn't really want to mess with rappers, but since I was introduced to him through his cousin, he would be my consultant. That's what he
Okay.
told me. I'll be your consultant, and I said, okay, all right. Well, he'd tell me which direction to go. I can use that.
Okay.
And so he told me what I needed. He said, you need a single. He said, you need something for the ladies, something for the radio, no cussings, blah, blah, blah. He gave me the whole rundown. I said, okay. Went to the studio that day. In like 2 hours, I sent it right back to him. I said, what's that sound
Now,
like?
were you still under contract?
No, after this.
So
keeping
now
it
you're
real,
an
yeah,
independent
I'm free.
artist.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm free out here in the wind.
Okay.
And so, so I went to the studio with my buddy. My buddy had a studio. Went over there, recorded something, came back, sent it to him. And I remember playing it over the phone. He said, send that to me. And then so I had to send it a CD. We used to have CDs at the time. I sent him a CD.
Yeah.
And then that day he called me. He said, I'm no longer your consultant. I was like, what'd I do? He was like, oh, I'm your manager.
Oh, shit.
Oh, well, here we go. Now we in the big leagues, huh?
Yeah. You did something right now.
I did something right. So he heard something in there. And so I guess.
You remember what it was you sent him?
Yeah, it was my first single. It was called Like Magic.
You're gonna hit some of that. I know you still know the words, but we're gonna keep going.
It's on YouTube, man. Yeah,
So
I do know the
you
words.
signed with him, and did he have artists already up under him at the time?
No, I was the first.
Really?
Yep. Again, he wasn't dealing with a lot of artists or nothing. He had some bad experiences, but after he signed me under his wing, and then he started bringing in other. I think after me, it was like, I think if I remember right, it was Zay Foggs, and then it just kept growing and growing, and it became what we have today.
What did you learn from that experience that you're transitioning to now with being an artist?
Man, I learned a lot. I learned a lot of the do's, a lot of the don'ts. Never to fully depend on one thing and think that this one thing is it. Because I remember when I was at Keeping It Real, I was in college at the time. I was at IUPUI, and I really didn't take that serious. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, this is just for plan B. I'm thinking school was my plan B. You know what I mean? Rap was my plan A. This is what's about to get the bag. You know what I mean? And then when that fell through, I was like, uh-oh, what now? You know what I mean? I played around with school when I shouldn't have been. You know what I mean? I should have took that way more serious. So,
what's it like for you now? I mean, you still love music. I think a lot of people, they use the word age. Well, you're not at the appropriate age to be a rapper, but it's not really about an age. You love music.
Yep.
You love music, so it's really not even about making the money. You have a career,
right?
But you enjoy. Tell your story. What do you like about it that you're still going?
It's the art form. I mean, I'm in love with the art. It's therapeutic. You know what I mean? To be able to
boom. A lot of people don't realize that. It's not always about money.
It's not. I mean, a lot of people out here in the game. That's what messed the game up. If you ask me, everybody out here chasing a check instead of putting in art. You know what I mean? And just being. I was always told, you put in the art first, and then the check will chase you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Quit.
Who'd you learn that from? Jams?
Nah. I learned that from somebody in my journey. But
trial and error.
Yeah. But yeah, man. Put your art first, and the check will chase you. You know what I mean? So for me, it's just about the art. I mean, just the again, it's therapeutic. So to be able to vent and tell my story. I remember back in the past, my buddy, we were talking, and he was like, man, for me to rap is like me reaching into my bowels, my gut, and just grabbing a handful of it and taking it out and just smearing it on a piece of paper. And that's what you hear coming out through that mic.
So what are you now is a different part of your life. Are you now a protege to the young artists that are coming up? Are you more writing? What's the end game right now?
End game now is just keep doing what I love, man. I don't really have an end game. If
retirement is just a bullshit word, you like what you do,
man. I hate to say it, man. I'm probably gonna be 80 years old still trying to grab a microphone.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Shit, ain't nothing wrong with that.
As long as I got somebody that'll listen, man, I'm gonna keep spitting. You know what I mean?
So, do you have any tracks out now?
Oh yeah, I got a lot. Oh yeah, I got a lot.
I'm gonna have you blow something in a minute.
All right, man.
I'm gonna have you blow something. So I'm gonna go back a little bit more before we run out of time. What are some of the things that you remember the most in your journey that you're sharing with up and coming artists?
Some of the things I remember the most is mainly just the business side of music. You know what I mean? I learned a lot about contracts, management, per diems. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I mean a lot. I mean even publishing. I mean mastering. I mean just the writers credits, like points. I remember. I mean just the whole business side, because I remember when I came in the game, I wasn't thinking nothing about business. I want to rap. You know what I mean? That's how I want people to look at me the same way they looked at LL Cool J that day on that TV. That's all I wanted. You know what I mean?
What makes those guys different from what makes the rap industry? I said I wouldn't use the word rap industry. We use it in our. What made the music industry, the artist industry, different from that era to the era that we're in now? Do you find that because I met you guys at the Uncle Jam's thing that they had a couple last week. Mm-hmm. What did you see? Because you've been in the industry long enough. What did you see transition between now to then?
Oh man, rap has truly evolved. I mean, evolved. From in the past to now, I mean, we was talking about it a little bit previously, but social media. I mean, you got instant notoriety, instant acknowledgments. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You can grab your phone and record something in it right now. Man, if I would have had social media when I was in high school, yeah. Oh my God, I wouldn't have stayed off of it. I would have been on there every day.
Yeah,
I mean,
the power that it has.
The access to people. I mean, because back in the day, we used to go hand to hand with CDs. We stand outside.
Stand outside in your trunk.
Yeah, all day. We walking around with CDs in our pocket because we never know who we might run across that day. You know what I mean? Knocking on back of radio station doors, trying to hand them a CD, and I mean the whole nine. I mean, I remember even traveling. I mean, we hopping in cars with duffel bags full of our CDs, and we gonna go to Fort Wayne, and we gonna go to
all over the place.
Yeah, just hand them out and try to sell them $10 a piece.
So how can the viewers, naturally you got a lot of information, you still performing, how can the viewers reach out to you?
They can find me on social media. Right now, it's at 12317. Really, everything is 12317. You can 12_317.
Is it the
you
word
spell
12? Spell it out?
You got to spell it out. You can't just type in 1 2. That won't work. You got to spell it out. 12 at 12317. The whole nine.
Before we wrap up, I'm going to ask two things. The first one is to leave the viewers with something inspirational to keep them moving, because definitely we learn from other people's trials and errors, mm-hmm. and we get strength from those. Mm-hmm. We should never condemn somebody until we know their story, and nobody can tell a story better than you, and definitely going to have you back because you got a lot more to share. So leave the viewers with something very impactful, and then close out the show with, I'm not even going to pick out a song. I'm going to let you pick out a song.
Wow.
I got you on spot now.
Wow, yes you do. All right, well, for the inspiration, I'm going to tell everybody, man, in your life, before you do anything, put God first. That's my inspiration. Always put God first. You do that, you're going to be all right, and no matter what you do. All right, now, you want me to spit something.
I want
You
something
gonna put
that's
me on the
good.
spot.
I'm gonna put you on the spot. You can't be an artist if you can't perform at the drop of a hat.
All right now. You right. All right. So if y'all look for me, y'all can find me on YouTube under 12 and Dave Deft. I used to have a partner. He had to back out for some family issues. I hope that he can join me again later on in future endeavors. But as far as right now, I had to go back to being a solo artist. So y'all can still find some of our songs, 12 and Dave Deft. And we have a song that our biggest song together was a song called Sorry Not Sorry. Please look for that. So it's really I'm sorry, not sorry.
Okay.
But yes, please look for that. And my verse on there, just for you.
Okay.
I'm gonna reverse that. Let me do Timeless.
Okay. I like that name.
Timeless.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was another. That was one of our recent hits. We had to put Skip on there and got Kelsey Marie on there. Please find that.
Okay.
All right. Timeless. Watching the sands of time slip through the gaps of my fingertips, and the fact I can't seem to can never get back a single grit. Blink to miss too many instances. Every minute is intricate, so the way I'm spinning it, searching for what there is infinite. I'm fully convinced too many contents we go with against the grain, cause in a sense there's never cement, not really that much to gain. We get us a glimpse into this past tense and everything changed. They reminisce on different events and how it seems strange. It's a shame we complain, but still be wasting time. I won't be to blame for wasting yours, so don't be wasting mine. And I'm beginning to find we got but so long, and then it's so long. 1 second you here, and then the next you gone. So I'm on in this moment. It's all that I got till it halts to a stop. Trying to control the components and clocks. I'ma forever have a spot, whether they know it or not. Cannot be forgot. Just press rewind and time never stop. I'm timeless.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's no other than the world famous 12 on the Andre The Beast Crayton.
Peace, baby.
Show.